One preseason game, one rookie quarterback, and suddenly, the entire NFL is acting like someone just flipped the script on the whole league. Shedeur Sanders didn't step into his debut like a first-time player hoping to earn respect. He walked in like he already owned the stadium, like the field itself had been waiting for him to arrive. The moment his feet touched that Cleveland turf, Sunday football wasn't just another tired tradition. It became a spectacle. A broadcast takeover. An event that turned fans, haters, and even reporters into stunned believers. And no, this wasn't just hype. It wasn't just a couple good throws. This was something different. Within hours, a preseason game, yes, preseason, became the most watched in NFL history. Jersey sales exploded. Phones didn't stop buzzing. Hardcore fans and casuals alike couldn't stop talking about one name, Shedeur. The craziest part? He wasn't even supposed to be here. Not like this. Not this fast. The Browns? They didn't draft him to be a star. Hell, most teams didn't even want him. 143 picks passed before one team even gave him a chance. Now those teams are watching clips of his debut in pure silence, wondering how this kid made 5 minutes of football feel like a primetime movie. So, how did Shedeur Sanders go from being doubted, skipped over, and labeled Dion's son to rewriting NFL hype in less than 4 quarters? Let's just say, he didn't debut, he detonated. And the fallout is just getting started. From his first snap, Shedeur Sanders didn't look like a rookie. He looked like a threat. In a league where most preseason debuts go unnoticed, Shedeur lit up the field and broke the internet. With just 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, and more swagger than the Browns have seen in years. But it wasn't the numbers that hit hardest. It was how he played. Calm under pressure, electric arm, commanding the offense like a 10-year vet. While Carolina defenders crashed the pocket, Shedeur stood tall, dodged chaos, and dropped dimes like he'd had a cheat code. And the reaction? Immediate. Twitter exploded. ESPN couldn't stop replaying his highlights. Fans who didn't even support the Browns started asking how the league let him fall to the 5th round. By halftime, his jersey started trending. The crowd didn't just cheer, they converted. This wasn't football. This was a debut-turned-broadcast spectacle. One preseason game became the most watched in NFL history. Shedeur wasn't easing into the league. He grabbed it and said, "Remember my name." And from the reaction, it was clear, everyone. On paper, Shedeur Sanders' debut looked solid. 14 of 23, 138 yards, 2 touchdowns. Clean, efficient, nothing too flashy, right? Wrong. What the stat sheet didn't show was just how in control he was. Every snap, every throw, every read, it looked like the game was moving slower for him than anyone else. Carolina threw blitz after blitz his way, and Shedeur didn't flinch. When 6 defenders came barreling in, he simply stepped around the pressure like he was late to lunch and dropped a 25-yard laser on a rope. No panic, no hesitation, just precision. And the impact? Immediate. Receivers ran sharper routes. The offensive line blocked like they were protecting royalty. Everyone around him leveled up, because when Shedeur's throwing the ball, you don't want to be the one who drops it. This wasn't measured in yards. It was measured in energy. Browns fans who've spent years watching flat, forgettable drives suddenly saw touchdowns that felt like statements. He didn't just manage the offense, he owned it. And while the numbers looked good on paper, what actually happened on that field? That was the performance no spreadsheet could calculate. The final whistle hadn't even blown. And Shedeur Sanders was already a star. In just one preseason game, he went from 5th-round pick to full-blown phenomenon. Jersey sales skyrocketing. Social media flooded. People weren't just watching, they were obsessing. Clips of his throws were circulating at lightning speed. TikTok, Twitter, ESPN, everyone wanted in on the Shedeur Sanders moment. Even fans of rival teams were asking the same question. How did he drop that far in the draft? Sports bars were jam-packed, not because it was a playoff game, but because folks didn't want to miss the next throw from this rookie. Trivia-level stats were already being memorized like sacred scripture. It wasn't just Browns fans losing their minds. Everyone was caught in the wave. Even Stephen A. Smith hinted at it, calling the situation a possible sabotage. But in the online world, that theory had been circulating long before the big networks picked it up. Now, GMs and scouts across the league are scrambling to rewrite their scouting reports. But it's too late. Shedeur Sanders didn't just prove people wrong, he exposed them. And every team that passed on him, they're going to feel that mistake for a very long time. Shedeur Sanders was drafted 144th overall. Let that sink in. Teams had 143 chances to take him, and they all passed. Now, it feels like a collective mistake the whole league made in broad daylight. After a debut that shook the NFL, fans aren't asking how he did it. They're asking why no one saw this coming. Or worse, why they did and looked the other way. Official excuses? Not ready. System QB? Media distraction. But a growing number of fans think it's something deeper. Was it his last name? The spotlight that comes with being Deion Sanders' son? The boldness to carry himself like a franchise player before ever taking an NFL snap? Maybe some teams just weren't built for that level of heat? Even Stephen A. Smith hinted at it, calling the situation a possible sabotage. But in the online world, that theory had been circulating long before the big networks picked it up. Now, GMs and scouts across the league are scrambling to rewrite their scouting reports. But it's too late. Shedeur Sanders didn't just prove people wrong, he exposed them. And every team that passed on him, they're going to feel that mistake for a very long time. Let's be honest. What happened to the Panthers wasn't just a rookie showing promise. It was a live demolition, with millions watching. Shedeur Sanders didn't just beat Carolina, he embarrassed them. From the first drive, he was toying with their defense. A 40-yard sideline laser made their cornerback look like he was moving in slow motion. On the next series, Shedeur scrambled out of pressure and threw a bullet so precise, the defensive end literally gave up mid-chase, just turned around confused. Every play felt like a flex. He was dissecting coverages, dancing around blitzes, and dropping perfect passes right over the heads of linebackers like it was a skills competition at practice, not a nationally televised NFL game. By the third quarter, Panthers fans weren't just silent. They looked defeated, like they'd shown up to a game and accidentally got front row seats to a roast. Even the refs probably wanted to call a mercy timeout. Shedeur didn't play safe. He didn't play scared. He walked onto that field like it was already his. And when he walked off, everyone knew that wasn't just a performance. It was a message. For all the hype, all the highlights, and all the headlines. Reports surfaced just days after his historic preseason debut. Whispers of a sore throwing arm, intense workouts before and after practice, and rumors that he's pushing himself way beyond what a normal rookie would dare. Some say it's just his insane work ethic. After all, Shedeur's known for outworking everybody. First to arrive, last to leave, constantly refining his game. But others see red flags. Overtraining, fatigue, maybe even ego driving him to take control of his own development rather than trust the team's system. It wouldn't be the first time a gifted young QB tried to carry too much, too fast, and paid for it later. RG3, anyone? It's not panic, yet. But NFL careers are fragile, and arms, even more. You don't get second ones. Now, coaching staff and trainers are being forced into a difficult balance. Protect the investment or let the fire burn. Because yes, Shedeur Sanders just lit the league up. But if the spark isn't managed right, that fire could burn out fast. Here's the bold truth. Shedeur Sanders didn't just arrive, he changed the conversation. One game, that's all it took to flip Cleveland's future, hijack the NFL media cycle, and force every team that passed on him to reconsider everything they thought they knew about scouting talent. He's not just a rookie. He's a spark that electrified an entire franchise. Suddenly, the Browns are being whispered in the same sentence as Super Bowl dark horses. They're not just playing football. They're selling hope. But this is the NFL, and the league doesn't hand out fairy tales. If Shedeur keeps delivering, he'll rise into true superstardom. But with every breakout performance comes heavier pressure, louder critics, and playbooks built to shut him down at all costs. And yet, something feels different this time. He's not just talented, he's prepared, focused, almost like he expected this from day one. If this was only his beginning, the NFL might be staring at the start of something massive. So, maybe it's another show, maybe it's a setback, or maybe it's the start of an era where QB1 wears number 2. Either way, one thing's clear. The league is officially on notice. One game. That's all it took for Shedeur Sanders to do what most quarterbacks spend years hoping to accomplish: change everything. He didn't ask for permission. He didn't play it safe. He stepped onto the field like it already belonged to him, and then backed it up with every throw, every decision, every moment. But here's what makes this different. It's not just about talent. The NFL is full of talent. What Shedeur brings is energy, disruption, presence. The kind that makes fans believe again. The kind that makes rivals watch with quiet dread. The kind that forces the camera to stay locked on every snap. Because if you look away, you might miss something historic. It's no longer about if he's for real. It's about how far he'll go and who's gonna try to stop him. The Browns didn't just get a quarterback. They got a movement. And for the 143 teams that passed, well, every highlight reel from this point forward is a reminder. You didn't just miss, you made him mad. And the scariest part of all? This was just the beginning.